My elderly neighbors are currently trying to replace or fix their deck by themselves. Not sure how that's gonna work, but I have a very short time here at home right now to film, and so I'm sorry if their hammering and drilling ends up. Yep. Gonna have to keep going. I'm very sorry. Unfortunately, with the start of school means that I'm reading less, so therefore this is a September and October wrap up for reading. I read 5 books in these 2 months. The first one I'm going to talk about is the latest one I read, which was High Rise by J.G. Ballard. I read this for school. In High Rise, you follow 3 main characters through the destruction of humanity within a high-rise, and I've had trouble reading J.G. Ballard books before, for school as well, and this was no exception. His writing would be really, really good, but because I'm very used to plot-driven writing, I struggled to get through the written physical book, so I found an audiobook and sped it up so I could finish the book in time. I like that he is very descriptive in his writing, but generally, I think I gave it a 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads because I just generally did not find that there was a plot. However, if you do like very descriptive dystopian novels, this is probably a good read for you. Going back in time, I read most of this in August, but I finished it in September. I read The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I got this book at Christina Horner's book swap back at VidCon, back when that happened. And it follows these college kids in the late 1980s who are studying and are being themselves and partying because that's what the 80s were about, especially if you're in college. And it all leads up to something that happens in the prologue, which is Bunny's death. And I love this book. I gave it a 5 out of 5 stars. It was very long, but very worth it in the end. Next, I read Hollow City by Ransom Riggs. This is the second in the Miss Peregrine's novel series. I've found it very, very whimsical, unbelievable at times, but it's the second, so it continues the story of Emma and Jacob, and they're traveling through different portals and in attempts to save Miss Peregrine. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was whimsical. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I'm really excited to read Library of Souls, which I just received in the mail about a week ago, so to see how this story continues and finishes. Next, I read Attachments by Rainbow Rowell. This is the exact kind of book I would like to read right now because it was about a 28-year-old guy in 1999 who was working for a newspaper and kind of in the IT department, and he was involved in trying to fix the virus that was going to happen when the new century happened in the 2000, January 1st, 2000. Although it is a love story, he reads everyone's email and kind of is supposed to be there as a safeguard to alert them as to what they're doing wrong. But it's a love story, but it was while the end was very unbelievable, it was very enjoyable to read. I wanted like a YA style novel with older characters because I'm getting tired of reading about 16-year-old girls. So reading about a 28-year-old guy was pretty cool. I believe I gave this a 4 out of 5 stars. Lastly, as it was getting close to Halloween, I found a horror style novel in Indigo, but I was not committed to buying the physical book, so I got it on e-reader. I read The Dead Girls of Hysteria Hall by Katie Allender, I believe is how you say her name. It was about a 16-year-old, 15-year-old girl that her family was moving into this house that was owned by her aunt, and it turns out it was haunted. Oh! It follows her and some ghosts and is wrapped up really nicely in the end. I enjoyed it. I didn't find it very scary, but it was definitely enjoyable. Horror, because I do not like horror movies, so reading a scary themed but not actually scary novel was really nice. And I believe I rated this a 4 out of 5 stars. It was just a nice little quick read for me, and the reason I got it on e-reader is because it was $2.99 in the Kobo store, so that was a lot cheaper than buying probably $10 or more. That was all I read these 2 months. I'm very sorry for the hammering. I've just had to go because I have to go back to school pretty soon. I'm really excited to keep reading my own books and continue doing these booktube videos, and I hope I get to read more in November, because this was 5 books over 2 months. So not a lot, but something at least, because school is hard. See you next time. Bye!